not too impressive of a rebound rally. It's interesting, but again, not very impressive. But it is what it is, right? I mean, that's I didn't expect to see too big of a charge. I thought that the action I kind of hinted itself yesterday, and every rally attempt was met with some sellers, and I think that's what you're gonna see. I don't see much here. I mean, there will be, you can bet your ass there'll be some sort of a charge here at some point for a dead cat bounce or rip your face off rally. Okay, I mean that you will get, I would say 100%, not 99. But the real question is where will it come from? Okay, how much lower will they go before you see some nibblers or some short covering? And then what happens? Will we end up like we have every other time with just a rally? And if you look at the market, I mean, basically, the S&P has been in a 500-point range for 4 months. Okay, and probably longer, but I don't need to go back any farther right now. Okay, so again, the idea of understanding the market and their price action. What's up, brother? Is that just watch what's in front of you? Okay, don't think that you are smarter than the market or what's going on. Okay, because you're not. Nobody is. I'm not. No, I mean, I've been around a long time, made a lot of mistakes, made a lot of money. But nobody's smarter than the market. It's going to do what it's going to do. It's your job to focus on how you can do it better and how you can make money and benefit from what you're watching, instead of the same old horseshit trying to work off your opinion, which is worthless. Okay, again, we all got opinions. Okay, and we all got the other thing that go with opinions, and they're all the same. Okay, none of us have the ability to predict anything long term, because you really don't know what the order flow is. What do you say, Bruce? The order flow is, or the paper flow? Okay, nor what everybody else is thinking. What are they already priced in? I mean, I don't think, for example, if we go back and look at Friday, I wasn't surprised at all. I mean, what did you think Jerome Powell was going to say? What did we say here over a year ago that what the Fed would do when it finally came down to the nuts and bolts? They'd screw it up. Well, here they are. What Federal Reserve in history has ever hiked rates into a recession? Okay, or in a market or an economy that's not growing? Okay, where were they when we needed them? Where were they when it was important to be raising rates? Okay, in 2013, 2014, 2015, all the way through. Okay, but no, they continue to play the cheap money game and continue to do nothing. Now they're forced. They got no bullets left. They have where are they going to go? Okay, you got to remember, we already have a $30 trillion debt and growing. Okay, you already have an administration that wants to destroy the entire middle class. Okay, so where are you going to go? What are they going to do? And certainly they're forced to do this, try to slow down. Of course, more than likely, they will create hyperinflation. Okay, which will be the nightmare of all nightmares. Okay. Now, again, we've already seen the housing markets are starting to really feel it. Okay, if you're in a good area that houses have been blowing off the shelves, so to speak, they ain't blowing off anymore. Okay, there's now deals to be had if you got cash, if you got capital. You've lost the edge of the interest rate market. Okay. You remember, I said this to you in the past. Okay, houses weren't selling, money was selling. Okay, it was all about money. Like everything else, it always comes down to money and what the value you can get based on the money that you have to borrow. So now, suddenly, with mortgage rates, I don't know where they truly are right now. You know, again, you see all kinds of BS advertised, but I don't know where the average borrower, okay, let's say with a 680 credit score, okay, where can they borrow money today? I don't know. I don't know the answer, but I know that in Las Vegas, you know, if you want to get a mortgage in a home they're building, you have to be able to qualify for 7.5%. Okay. Now, I also know, as I mentioned, I think last week, that we looked at a house in Vegas. I looked at the wrong house and I had the wrong price, and I wouldn't pay the HOA they wanted, which is homeowner association fee. But in the meantime, they're already offering rebates if you close. Okay. So that's telling you right to your face that the housing market is not what it was. Okay. The economy sucks. You can look at it any way you want. You can try to spin this any way you want. You can try to spin it like President Biden is, okay, which says we have no inflation in July. Yeah, okay, we only had 8.5% instead of 9.1. Okay, or you can look at it from reality, and the only true reality. What do you say, Ash? The only true reality that we have is what? What's the only true reality that we have? Each individual person. Now that's a pretty good call on week for you, big boy. I hope you take advantage of it. Okay. Inflation, okay. Not what I'm looking for, but there's one thing we can all do all by our lonesome. Okay. And that is really simply to look at your own life. Okay. Look at your bills, look at your incoming money, look at your outgoing money. Okay. And if you were a saver, can you still save the same amount of money before living the same lifestyle? Probably not. Okay. And that is what you have to be prepared for. That's what you should be looking at. That's how you determine if we're in a recession or not. Okay. Look at your own self first. Don't worry about the guy across the street. Don't worry about the neighbor. Start with yourself. Okay. That's and I assure you, I don't see many that are still, you know, prospering as they were when money was cheap and gas was low. Okay. And suddenly crude oil is back on the move higher. Okay. Cannot say since zero. Well, again, that's look, they're not even zero, they're still negative rates. Okay. This is what you should always do first in any part of your if you're looking to prognosticate inflation or what's going on around you. Start with yourself. It's your life first. So start by looking in your own pocketbook. Okay? And then you can start to look out into others. But it's obvious that we're in a lot of trouble. It's obvious that they have destroyed all small business. Okay, now if you're a small business person, great, and I hope you make it forever. But you can bet if it can be replaced, okay, they're going to put you out of business. That is what we've watched. Again, this is not a speculation or me, you know, being pissed off at this administration. This is fact. Okay, look around your neighborhood. How many small stores are still around? I'll bet you in almost any neighborhood, you've got more empty stores than you have tenants. Okay. My travel costs are up 30% per year. Well, and you travel cheap. And that's not an insult. You understand. Okay. So again, you're talking about real money. Okay. And you're talking about making less of it. Okay. This is what you have to, this is how you start to evaluate from an economy standpoint. Screw the idiot economist. They're about as dumb as you can possibly get because they're not looking at it. They're looking at using a formula. Okay. They've got an idea that they ain't changing for nobody. Okay, you want to talk about stubborn. Okay, these formulas are antiquated. Okay, that they're using. Okay, they don't change for anybody. It doesn't matter. Okay, so they're going to sit there and tell you. Now, I thought that inflation was transitory. Okay, I guess not. Of course, we said right away that it's not transitory, and that was a bunch of bull. Okay, and and I've done a lot of interviews in the last few days, and the lead to everyone is that Jerome Powell's an idiot. Now, I don't know that he's an idiot, because obviously he's a very bright person from a educational standpoint, but he's got no common sense. I mean, to not have raised rates, even in his tenure, okay, was stupid. Okay, again, you cannot continue to operate on a free money budget, especially when you're allowing the banking system to print money at the same time. Because if you don't understand it, the banks are printing money at the same time as the Federal Reserve because of what's called shadow banking. So, we have held inflation the last 8 years minimum. They never, they don't want to report anything. But this is why I tell you the simple solution is to go to your own. Start at home. That's where you find out. And as things tighten up for you, that you're not the only one. So we know that the economy is in trouble. Okay. The markets should be in trouble. And maybe they will, maybe they won't. Again, they should have been in trouble for quite a while. They should have never had the reversal that they had, but they did. So again, I think should's the wrong word. Okay. And Powell raised rates sooner. Would his term have been extended? I don't know. Okay. Look, he succumbed or succumbed, what's the right word? To Trump. Okay. And didn't hike when he should have. Okay. He has not done anything in the last 2 years until now. Basically, the last 3 meetings or whatever it is. I don't know, but that's not their job. Okay, is to worry about what my term is. I mean, the bottom line is he makes less money as the Fed chair than he did in private practice. Okay, how's that? These guys, now I'm not so sure about the Federal Reserve Board of Governors and the presidents of the Fed, if they can do the same thing that Congress and the Senate can do. Okay. But either they were appointed, but he came from a very successful, which is why I thought he was a good choice originally, because he came from a common sense background, but somehow you get to the Federal Reserve and you become an idiot. All right. But I mean, so the markets today were very unimpressive, okay, in their action. And basically flat on the day, but lower, right? Flat from where they opened. And that, obviously, you're looking at that. So this is from where they opened to where they closed are pretty flat, and there was some action between. In fact, I don't think the NASDAQ ever get positive. I wasn't paying too much attention. I know the Dow got positive for a while. Okay. But now what are we starting to see? Well, a little bit more volume, not a lot, but a little bit, which is, again, you got to start somewhere. We don't go from rags to riches. The only way I see to protect my net worth is to own real productive assets such as farmland, natural resource companies. Correct me if I'm wrong. Well, listen, I don't say anybody's right or wrong. But again, in this country, this will pass, and the equity markets, in my opinion, will continue on their 8.5 to 10% year-over-year gains. Maybe not next year, but in 10 years from now or 12 years from now, they'll be there. I think hedging is the key to equities. Farmland, I don't know. What are you going to do when you can't farm anymore because your input costs are higher than your production? Okay, again, there's a fine line going on right now in that part of the world. Now, we already know, we've talked about this before, but we already know there's going to be a food shortage. Make no mistake, this is not me. I'm not a fear guy. Okay, I'm not going to pitch fear to you guys. I'm just telling you facts. Okay, and the fact is we don't have enough food. Okay, that's the fact. Okay, and we're not going to produce enough food this year based on current estimates, and certainly based on weather, and based on Russia, and based on Ukraine, and based on the bad year for Australia and for Brazil and Argentina. So there's going to be a food shortage. We're already seeing riots in the areas that have trouble to begin with. Okay. So now what's going to happen next year? If this continues at its current pace, and input costs could very easily rise past production cost, okay, to the selling prices. Then what are you going to do? If you're a farmer, are you gonna plant next year knowing you're planting at a big loss to begin with and have no control over the inflation of the inputs of what it costs to put that crop in the ground? Probably not. So, again, this is, if you look at this as a contrived conspiracy theory, okay, the government would love to own the land. Okay, again, he who controls the food controls the world. Okay, UK has 90% of its own gas, yet corporations still gouging, making billions. Well, what would you? Again, you're blaming the corporations. You sound like President Biden. Okay, it's not the corporations. It's either they don't have enough, okay, or you guys are screwing up the supply demand curve. Okay, again, they can only gouge if somebody's willing to pay the price. Okay, again, you got to be willing to pay the price for them to gouge. I mean, it's not, your argument, in my opinion, does not make sense. Okay, because people can certainly cut way back down within, if they can't pay the price or don't want to pay the price, they can certainly cut back at what they're using. Okay, and put the pressure back on those you think are gouging. Okay, you don't have to drive as much as you do. You don't have to, keep your house at 72 in the winter. You can keep it at 68. I mean, listen, there's a whole bunch of things. So I don't necessarily agree with the corporations or price gouging. Okay, listen, I'm not defending corporate America either. Okay, but it's still a price discovery world as far as I know. Okay, I understand. I know what you mean, but it's still the same thing. There is a shortage of natural gas, okay, because we don't get involved, and because why? Well, Russia. Okay, Russia's the biggest supplier to Asia, to the East Coast, to the east there, or the West, whatever that is. UK and Germany. Okay, so listen. If you put in sanctions, which we've talked about, right? The sanctions don't work unless you can actually provide and hurt somebody. Well, how much have we hurt Russia with our sanctions? Zero. They have profited from every one of them. Okay. So, again, this is a position that nobody and no country should be in right now. Okay. And we should be prospering from all of this. We, the United States of America, should be prospering from what's going on right now. But of course, we're not. Why? Because for whatever reason, we will not go back to fracking and shale producing. And if somebody said we don't have the refiners anymore, we had the refiners 2 years ago. Okay. And I'll bet you we can get them back. Okay. I would bet you we can get them back. Okay. Fracking started, if you remember, in North Dakota. Okay, big jobs, paying big money, and people were living 100, 200 miles away. I couldn't find housing. You don't think we could get back to that again? Okay. You can study whatever you think, baby. Look, again, I know a couple of things about markets and about pricing. Okay, that I do know. And if I don't pay for it and people stop paying for it, then there's a demand issue. There's a supply issue, too much. Prices got to come down. I think maybe we're talking about different things. Okay. But you let me know. Okay. I respect your opinion. I respect everybody's opinion. I don't care. I'm not always right. I just give you what I think. And I give you what I can decipher from common sense, not from some ridiculous economist who has no clue. and has not missed a meal, okay, because of what's going on. I mean, again, they don't have any issues. They don't have any of the same issues that normal people have. So we can just dispute the issue. We can discuss the issue, but at the end of the day, the issue is very simple. Okay, cut down your demand, and you're going to overwhelm the supply. The supply is going to have to be sold. It's no different in any business. Okay, so again, that's all I can say about that. But so markets themselves, look, at the end of the day, they're breaking down now. Now, is this the route to down that 50 to 60%? I don't know. Again, if I knew, I would tell you. I promise. I don't know. Okay. I wish I knew. In private, by the way, quit for the year. You're 100% right now. Private. 100% with two open, but you quit now, be 100% winner. What could be wrong with that? Okay. So, if you look at what's going on in this country, okay, in the economy, okay, with the Fed, okay, they're hiking rates into a recession. Okay, and if we don't want to believe, if we change the bar that it's no longer 2/4 of negative GDP for recession, okay, well, we're going to have our third. So are they going to change the bar again? Okay, or move the bar, I guess is the right word. Okay, are they going to move the bar again? Okay, because now we're going to go into our third quarter of negative GDP. Okay, and it's only going to get worse. That's the sadness about it. Okay, so I think we have to take a look and realize all the things that surround us. Okay, and that's why I tell you, first look into your own pocketbook. Okay, your own bank account, your own ability to save money, your own ability to do the things you've done in the past. And then you can start to look further down the road, okay, at what it means for the overall economy, because most of us are very similar in action and in what we can do. Okay. I know, Brad, you tell me that every week, brother. I already told you that. I'll get there. You tell me that every week. I've agreed with you every week. Okay. All right, brother. I'll be waiting. I got my napkin around, and I got the knife and fork out, and I'll be in Vegas too. Not that it matters, because actually, I got news for you. For betting games, it's better to be not in Vegas. I got to drive to Arizona, 20 minutes to the border. The economists talk should be cheap, lots of supply, little demand for it. Yeah, listen. Again, I'm not a big fan, if you have not noticed, I'm not a big fan of economists in general. Okay, but so again, we have a whole mixed picture of a message, right? And we really are at the bottom line of all of this, are doing some dramatic destruction to the country. Okay, and you'll hear about some of this later, because I don't want anybody to get upset, right? Especially someone who I was talking this about, but I get to it. But we're doing a tremendous amount of damage to the United States of America. Although it is the greatest country in the world still, but I'll get to my point on that later. But we are doing damage for no reason, and that I don't understand. And I wish somebody could explain it to me, okay, as to why we feel compelled to destroy this great country bit by bit. Okay, because whatever you think, the destruction that is being done. Okay, now the good news is that everything is repairable. Okay, at some point. But the bad news is that those of us who are participating in this now are getting screwed and getting ripped off. Okay, and that is a problem. Okay, I mean, maybe you don't think so. And listen, this is not, by the way, this is not a party issue. Okay, right now, in general, Americans are getting screwed. Okay, middle class America is getting screwed on every single turn. Okay, so again, agree, disagree, that's up to you. I don't tell you how to think, nor do I. If you tell me you think I'm wrong, do I having a problem with it? Again, you can speak your mind. I don't get mad at anybody for speaking their mind. So, but I think that you brought too much into this climate change issue, too much into this green energy deal. You see now California. I think the wording is no more selling of gas cars or fossil fuel cars after 2035. That's fine. Okay. However, there's still going to be a gazillion gas powered engines on the road because not everybody can afford to run out and buy a new car tomorrow because they decide they want emission free. Okay. And don't kid yourself, that's not so free either. The production of what they want to do, it's going to take fossil fuels. I didn't know that. Okay. So again, I think you have to be a realist. Okay. And at this time, many of you are still suffering from your hatred of the old president, Donald Trump. Okay. I think at some point you have to put your hatred aside for a minute and rationally look at what's going on in this country right now. Forget about who's president, forget about who was president. Just rationally take a view. Okay. Because the only reason the markets are anywhere near where they are now is what? Because of an over flooded money supply. It has nothing to do with growth. Are we having dramatic growth right now in this country? Anybody? You guys can chime in anytime. Everybody comments. It's okay. Are we seeing dramatic growth? I don't see it. Am I missing something? Okay. I don't see the growth. Okay. I see a lot of shrinkage. Where's George Costanza when I need him? Okay. I was in the pool. Okay. I see a lot of shrinkage. I don't see a lot of growth. And unfortunately, I cannot see right now where growth is going to come from. I don't see an overabundance of new business being built. Okay. I see Amazon getting bigger. I see Google getting bigger. I see Facebook getting bigger. I see Twitter getting bigger, but I don't see the small entrepreneur building the next great project out there. Okay, because again, small business is already at a dramatic disadvantage to begin with, right? The cost of goods, the cost of production is always higher because they don't get the same pricing power. So, again, any real good idea gets gobbled up by big corporate America. Okay? And that is basically because of the restrictions that government puts on, and government is getting bigger and bigger. Now, you can read the Constitution word by word, from front to back to front, all the amendments. The federal government was never meant to be the largest employer in the world. Okay, the federal government was meant to be an overseer, okay, of city, county, state government. Okay. They were not meant to be what the monster that they've grown into. Okay. Because all they've done is create destruction since forever. Okay. Except when you go back to the actual farmers that were presidents and in the House, and they'd serve their 1 or 2 terms and they go back to work. Okay. Of course, that's when we were a producing nation. Okay. And right now, what do we produce now? Unemployment, transgender, okay, education that means nothing. Okay. Nobody can even get their arms around all what the federal government does. They don't do anything but take money, okay, and create debt. Okay. Look, again, this is a nonpartisan view. They're full of crap, all of them, every one of them. And I'm sure there's a couple of good ones in there somewhere. Where, I don't know. Okay. I'm sure there's some good politicians in there somewhere. But I'd like to meet one, okay, that isn't fleecing or taking out of my pocket. Okay. People with assets are happy. Of course they're happy people. Don't you understand that this is how the rich always get richer? Okay, this is the time that the wealthy get wealthier because they can accumulate assets that others can't. That's what makes the governments and the playing field unfair. Okay. Again, this is the point. This is the point I try to make all the time. Okay. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle you sit on. If we continue to allow these guys to get bigger and bigger and bigger, they're only going to destroy your opportunity. And that only makes it better. Okay. You know, Warren Buffett made a fortune in 08 and 09. I mean, he didn't make it right then, but he did make a fortune from them, from that period. Why? Because he had plenty of assets to buy. All right. He had plenty of assets to bail out places. So he was there. Okay. This is the problem. This is where the middle class gets torched. We don't get the same benefits. Okay. We are not on an equal playing field because they've made it that way intentionally. Okay. Again, it's not me. It's the government. And in this particular case, this administration happens to be the worst in history, or in my history. Let me put it, rephrase it. In my lifetime, this one is the worst. Okay. Because they're doing the most amount of damage in the shortest amount of time that I have ever seen. Okay. Okay. Economists are wondering with the price of gold possible from 900 to 900 in the short term, which would I'm quite disappointed because I'm also forecasting. Look, again, I told you, quit forecasting what gold's going to be or what any asset's going to be in the future. Okay. Gold will be higher. Gold will someday trade 2,900. Gold will probably trade 5,000 someday. Okay. And I believe that you should own it. But if you're looking for it to be your bailout tomorrow, you're in trouble. Okay. Forget again, you guys who listen to all this bullshit from these economists that have no idea and no clue. Okay. And these guys who tell you that gold will be 5,000, gold could be 500 before 5,000. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying that the markets will determine where those prices are going to be. And throughout all of these stuff that we've listened to, all the great geniuses that we've all heard of before, I'm not going to get the names, but you'd be broke by listening to every one of them. Okay, that made those dramatic forecasts. Okay, that this was going to be X and that's going to be X. Nobody knows. That's the answer is nobody knows for sure. And so all you can do is what? Learn how to play defense and learn how to read the market correctly to put yourself in the best position. And it starts out for us like with our day trading. Okay. And we've done really well in our morning day trading for an hour. Okay. Another big day today. Okay. Day trading, but it starts at the shortest and smallest time frame as it goes forward. Okay. But you have to understand and understand that your first job in this industry, in this business is what? What's your first job in this industry and in this business? Learn how to play defense, right? Risk management, defense. Okay. You ever hear the story in sports? Every single sport that we watch, defense wins championships. Okay. Defense wins championships. Defense makes money because it keeps you in the game. Okay. Like our hedging stuff, it allows you to stay in and buy things like everybody else, like you should be when they're going down instead of when they're going up and chasing and then going broke and being forced to puke and panic out. Okay. All right. Anyways, so as we look around the dollar, well, gee, shocking, the dollar's higher again. Okay. Now again, is it really higher? Well, you look at, as I've said before, you've heard this from me before. The fiat currency system is a fraud. The central banking system is a fraud. The Federal Reserve is a fraud. Okay, because again, they're so far off their mandate, which I showed those of you on Saturday who came. Okay, their mandate does not say that they're supposed to worry about the stock market. Okay, but either way, okay, So the dollar is higher, yes, and the others are lower. But at the end of the day, they're all lower and they're all worth less. Okay. So we have much less buying power, even though our dollar is so high. What can we really buy with it? Okay. In the meantime, Connie, 108 to 110. And 110 would be a new high, a new recent high, but 108 support. We're long, so I'm not shorting anyway. Nor do I actually I don't actively trade this anyway, but 108 support. I think 110 will show some resistance today. We got to about 109.44, I think. Yeah, 109.44. I think 110 is the key to watch. Again, I don't think there's anything you can do about it, but that's what you'd be watching. And we are still long. Okay. And the euro currency, which is under par, at least it was. Oh, it got back. It snuck back over. Okay. We're still short the euro currency. And look, again, this is going, in my opinion, I'm going to go back to what I said, 88 cents. Okay. Now, right now, it looks to be stuck between, let's say, 99.20 and $1.01 or so. Okay. Listen, I would sell with both hands at about 160, 100, $1.60. Okay. But again, don't be surprised, like we saw before, a penny or two rally, which is it's a lot of money in the futures market. Okay. On one contract, 1 penny move is $1,250 on a big contract. Okay. But 100.60 or 160 is the resistance. Support is about 99, but I would be a buyer. I'd love to see it go down there, bounce off of it, and find another place to sell more. Okay. And I will continue to sell the euro currency. Okay. Because in my mind, A, it's worthless. Okay. And B, it's going a lot lower anyways. Okay. Bitcoin, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to imagine. It just doesn't do anything. This big asset that was below, I don't know, was it below 20 in the future market? I wasn't paying much attention. Yes, it was. It was below 20,000 almost all weekend in the cash markets. Okay. I can't believe we're so long, but we are. I would assume that's going to change soon. But in the meantime, it's really still 20,000 or so. I mean, you want to get a little bit more technical, maybe 19.5, but 20,000 to 24,000. Now, it's interesting that this is not moving at a better clip. Okay. And we're not seeing any rallies here because it's certainly the currency of the libertarian. It is certainly the currency of a lot of the youth. I mean, young kids, they understand all this crap, right? How many of us really understand this computer crap that goes along with this currency? I don't understand it in full, which is why I don't have more money in it. Okay, because I don't really quite understand all the nuances of it, but I do recognize that it is decentralized. I do recognize that the theory behind it is tremendous. The question is it real? That's the hard part to really comprehend. Okay. And I don't know. Okay. I can't, I wish I could answer the question honestly, and I do. I don't know. Okay. I think it's real. I think that when it comes down to it, we'll have a half a dozen of these cryptos that'll be real and viable. But I do not understand why they've been getting under so much pressure, unless it's just, there's too much fear of what the government can do, or governments, not just government, but governments around the globe. Because as they continue to make their own, okay, that Canada is now using some digital currency, okay, and I think that I think a lot of the governments, a lot of the smaller ones, are accumulating these cryptos as they try to keep the weight on them, so that they can create some new money for themselves as well. But we'll see. Bond markets, well, here we go. Now we tested the lows we talked about last week. We tested the highs we did last week, and I think we're still in that range. It's like 136 to 138, but I think you can see clearly that the trend is lower. I think you can see that probably, they probably could break here. Okay, it wouldn't surprise me. Now, today's volume was really light. However, okay, don't take today's volume as anything but this. Okay, today is like the start of rollover. So you've got two contracts to watch So the volume, if you got both of them in play at one time, you would see normal volume. Okay, you might even see higher than normal volume, because right now you've got about 600,000 contracts traded between September and December, because September bonds tomorrow is going to be the last trading day. Okay, so it'll be December. So you're seeing this rollover position. So the volume actually adds up to be double. And if we go back and look at this and double it, okay, it puts us up in here. So not bad from when you look at it. And I would think that if we're now 136 to 138, but certainly I'd be a seller at 138 without a problem. And I'd also be a seller if we broke below 136 and then try to come back up through it. Okay. Gold, well, look, it had a minor update. Gold looks awful. Okay. I think gold is going lower. We're still short gold, but I think it's going lower. Again, do I like gold as an asset? Yeah, it's a great hard asset. It's like owning a house. Okay, it's a hard asset. Okay, I would never, and I will say it again, I will never buy anything long term that is involved with gold except for physical gold. I will never own paper gold for more than whatever period of long we're trading. Okay. If I'm going to own gold, I want real hard asset gold. I want it in my pocket, because I do not believe that there's enough gold to satisfy the amount of paper in play. Okay. And, but it does look awful at the moment. It's kind of consolidating between about 1730 and 1800. But I think that you've got probably 1770 now is the top end. And I think I think 1700 is now in play. And I think even lower. Okay. Now, again, that can change, right? The price action can change my opinion. But right now, that's what it looks like. Okay. So 1700 to 1770 kind. Silver looks worse. Jesus. It's amazing. Since both of them peaked on August 12th, they've been beaten down into oblivion. It looked like we were getting ready to run. Okay. And suddenly, silver's going to 18 bucks. What it does from there, I have no idea. But I would certainly think silver is going to 18 bucks. Okay. And lower. Now, again, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to be buying it. All right. So just so you understand, my trading position is one position. My investing position is another. Okay. So paper, I'll be selling until they reverse, and I'll have to buy it. And again, I'll be on both sides as a trader. Meantime, 18, it's like 18 and 19, but I think it's probably 1880 would really be even resistance right now. And platinum, what a pathetic thing this is. I don't know. Look, we don't trade anymore because it's not liquid enough. But certainly, it's really still 800 to 900. I don't know what else to tell you about it. Okay, I'm still buying it. I don't know. I hope I don't end up with all the platinum. And copper got hammered today after reaching the pinnacle. Okay, and then it got hammered. Okay, now we're long copper. It's really in this range, right? We saw. Remember when we looked at this last time, and it did break out. We saw the same pattern appear, and it did not. So what's going to be really crucial for copper, okay, is like this 355 area, and we can see very much so that 371 is kind of like the upper end. Okay. Now again, I don't think this did any damage today. This was just basically like a wholesale sale. Okay. There was a lot of asset selling today because as margin calls start to come in, okay, people have a bad habit of liquidating other assets. Okay, they have a bad habit of liquidating winning assets to cover the losing assets they're holding, which is, by the way, totally backwards. Okay, I will look at SQQ later. I can't do it right now. Okay, but I would say no, except for a short term. But too many people are in a bad habit of liquidating strong and closing and trying to hold on to the weak, hoping that it's going to come back. That is totally backwards to any theory of investing, money management, growth. Okay. The idea is to keep the winners and get rid of the losers, losses or not. How many times have I chased the losers just to lose more? Listen, it happens all the time. It's not unusual. That's why you see often much of this acceleration, okay, when you get some selling, because again, they start selling everything, but they start with selling those stuff that they're making money on because, they want to protect the pig. Okay, not a good strategy. Okay. In the meantime, for those of you who track it, 355, 371. Okay. Grain markets, as I said, corn was going to move up, and here it is, moving on up with the Jeffersons. Look, we're long corn now. Okay, and we're still long copper, if I didn't say it or not. Okay. We're long corn. We got long last week or the week before. I don't remember exactly when, but we got long. And again, look, I don't think it's going to explode higher. I think you're going to see some pullbacks. I think you're going to see some rallies. I think you're seeing too many people try to play the weather, try to play everything else. But at the end of the day, in my opinion, okay, the end game here is there's going to be a shortage of food. Okay. So to me, if I'm right there, it means no matter what happens between now and then, these prices should be higher later. And I think they will be. I think they'll be a lot higher, which is why I always told you I didn't really want to be short them when we were short them, but I was following my program and my system, and I'm not going to change that now. I mean, even with the last couple of years being rough, okay, over the history, it's made a fortune. Okay, so I'm not going to suddenly become smarter than the market, trying to outsmart it. So now we are in really pretty good shape, and I would suspect the next real resistance is going to be somewhere around $7, 720. I think pullbacks to 650 should be booked. I think you're 650 to 7 right now. Okay. Unfortunately, of course, there's a shortage. I'm talking about that. How many weeks have I talked about that for? Okay. There's already food riots going on in the bread baskets. Okay. That's almost in your neighborhood. I mean, this is not a surprise. We talked about this for months. Soybeans, which were long as well, which got hammered a little bit today, but look at it again. You see, too many of us have a habit to look at soybeans and go, "Oh my God, 25 cents! What a move!" So, on a $14 thing, 25 cents is nothing. Okay, too many of us think back to when I started trading. Okay, beans were $4, wheat was $3, and corn was $2. Okay, seriously. Okay, so everybody's still thinking about those days. The higher the price, the bigger the swings. But when you look at the chart, there's no damage done here today. I mean, the markets are dead nuts in consolidation. After spiking higher, they're now going sideways, and they're on pretty damn good support. I actually bought some for a day trade and made some money day trading them. Okay, and I think that again, I would look at this and I would have no problem being a buyer at 1420. Okay. And I'm not a seller, but I think probably 1480 will bring some resistance again. 1420 to 1480. Wheat, I guarantee you will be long tomorrow. I don't know that for sure, but I'd be willing to bet on it. We're still short, but I'm going to bet that it's going to turn tomorrow. Okay. The only thing that I don't like about it is I hate turning into a blow off to that direction, right? Because I think I'm glad the signals are going to change because I'd really rather be long wheat. But I'd rather work my way into it and buy it later. But I have to buy it tomorrow. Most likely, again, I'm speculating. I don't know that that's for sure, but I would assume. Okay. And of course, we all know what assuming does at the same time. But we are breaking out, it looks like to me. Okay. And I would say wheat is probably, 870 is going to be probably the next resistance area. And I think you're looking at probably $8 as some pretty good support. Okay. Hopefully it'll change and they'll open lower amount. That'd be obviously the beautiful thing to happen, which would work in nicely with a blow off. Okay. And feeder cattle got hammered a little bit today. Again, this, there's a relationship and a correlation from feeder cattle to corn. Corn goes up, feeder usually or sometimes go down, but it's really not always direct. And I'm going to say this to you. Okay. I don't agree that feeders are down today because of the higher price of corn. I'm going to say that feeders are down today because of the higher price of crude, because of the inflation, and because they'd reached a pinnacle, okay, at about 185. And although we are now short feeders, I don't think they're going down a lot, and I don't think they're going up very far. I think they're going to be stuck pretty much range bound. And I think the only thing that can push them a lot higher would be some disease in cattle, and a lot lower, we'll see. Okay, I could change my mind, but right now I think that overall they look fairly good, even though we have reversed today. And I do think that the pattern looks okay, and I would not be concerned if I owned them or if I was a farmer until they got below 176. Okay, and I think the same goes for fat cattle. Okay. Fat cattle spiked up. Well, naturally, you're gonna have a little bit of a pullback, but I don't think there's a lot of room to the upside in the cattle markets, because again, if we go back to just people, again, they make their budget because listen, people are the ones who consume these, right? You know, they don't use these for parts. These are food. Okay, so people consume cattle or steak. Okay, and the question is their budget, can their budget handle it? Okay, can they handle paying for steak, or are they going to continue? And that's why I don't think there's a lot of room to the upside. Like I said, I don't believe they're going to get hammered. I just don't think they're going much higher in here. Okay. And in the meantime, if you're looking at it, I think you're 145 to 140. Okay. And hogs again up today, but look where they're coming from. You're just coming right back to resistance. Probably a sell. We're short. Now again, I don't believe that there's a lot of room to the downside in hogs either here, although they are very pricey compared to October and December hogs in the past. But again, we're in a different environment. Okay, so just because they used to be at 39 cents in December doesn't mean that they have to be there today. I think that you're in a downtrend, but the demand could pick up dramatically if oil continues to rise. Okay, if budgets continue to get tightened, because again, that would be the next protein down the road, right? The next cheapest protein would be the hog market. Okay, I think they're 90 to 93, and I'll probably, if they open higher tomorrow, I'll probably sell some more. Okay, to trade the range. Natural gas, as we talked about last Monday, made a 14-year high and is still holding this level of support. Okay, now. Again, I feel sorry for those in Germany and in the UK for what you're paying for natural gas. But wait till you get your next heating bill, your next bill that's involved with natural gas. It's not going to be pretty. And the good news is it's only going to get worse. Okay. But I think that natural gas could see $15. Okay. Again, we're coming into a very tricky period now. Believe it or not, it's already September. Okay. Prices doubling you. Yeah, I told you. Okay. And we're coming into a very challenging time in the natural gas world because of the cost, right? And because of things that can happen. The natural gas refiners, they make the same ridiculous mistakes every year. Okay. They don't do it once, it's every year. And if there's any spike, if there's any reason that there's a heavy demand for natural gas before it's time, prices will go through the roof, okay, because they're not prepared for it, okay, and of course we don't even produce it much anymore, so that's another problem, which is why we should be producing, protecting our middle class, protecting our cost, and being able to help liquefying natural gas, because of course Biden just put out a rule or a law or statement, whatever, that we're no longer going to liquefy and send to the UK, okay, so. Again, you tell me what that all means. When we have plenty, okay, and we could certainly send it to them. Okay, and certainly, would you rather be creating natural gas or watching coal get burned at record numbers? Okay. Because the increase in coal production and coal usage is at record highs. Okay, so again, for all of you climate believers, okay, because we stopped all of our production of crude, natural gas, okay, coal has now gone into record amounts of usage. Okay, even though we don't produce it anymore. Okay, now, at last I heard, I didn't think we were putting a dome over the United States. So I don't think that's very good for our environment as well. Okay, so again, you have to ask yourself, at what cost do you want to destroy the middle class, and at what cost do you want to get to the next step? Okay, and right now, the rest of the world doesn't give a rat's ass. They're burning more coal than ever. Okay. In the meantime, natural gas, 9 to 10, $9, $10, but I think they're going possibly as high as 15. Crude, oh, it woke up, which we're long, and we're long natural gas, we're long crude. Okay, look, crude is breaking out again, and I think that this downtrend is over. I think you're going to see much higher prices. I still believe that we're going to see all-time records in crude. Okay, for today, I think you're looking at probably 92 support. Okay, I think your next big resistance is probably about 100. Okay, which it wouldn't shock me if we were there tomorrow. Okay, I think we might be seeing a potential repeat of what we saw not that long ago, where they start galloping higher, $3, $4, $5 a day. And we'll see. Again, I don't predict. I'm just looking at the prices and the way they're acting. Okay, cocoa. Okay, cocoa's been like sleeping, and really, the soft commodities are not for trading; they're for holding. Okay, or for hedging, depending on if you're a farmer or not, or a producer of it or not. But we cover them anyways, and we're still short cocoa. I mean, it really hasn't done much. Okay, and certainly, I would think you're at the upper end. I don't think it's much past 24.20 or 24.30, and 23.20 looks to be the support. And cotton, look, you can look at cotton a couple of ways. Okay, we're long cotton. You had that big spike up, right? We came from 85 cents all the way up to $1 and change after coming down from $1.50. You got a straight spike up, you're going sideways. Okay, and look what's happening. Suddenly, okay, you're making another ascending view into resistance, which should lead to a run up to probably 130, 135. Okay, I would certainly be willing to buy more cotton. Oil 92 to 100. I think I said that twice, but I'll say it again for you, honey, because you didn't call me a jackass yet, so I got to get that out of you. You and I would be good partners or something, right? We could say, because I could get you to say that at any time. Anyways, so cotton looks like it wants to explode higher. Okay, right now I'd say about 112, 111 is support. Watch the 120 area, but it certainly could pop through there like nothing. Okay. I'm just kidding. I just gotta, as long as you're here, I gotta give you some grief. Okay. So cotton, looks like it wants to go higher. My book. Sugar, which we reversed, it wasn't a great trade to begin with, and I don't know. Look, it's really just stuck in a range. This is one of the problems. Okay, no matter how much you try to defend against, no matter how much you try to defend against anything, okay, until you get a firm trend in one direction, it's a pain in the ass. Okay? That's really what it comes down to. Until you can get a solid trend in a market that is trending, which we have not had. I mean, you really haven't had a trend here for 2 months. Okay? And since it broke right here, bang. Okay, and that stopped as well. I mean, so what you really need, and when you're trend trading, is extensions and trend. In the meantime, 1860, 1750. OJ up a nice little spike up today. Now we're still short. Okay, obviously we've been short, and it's come right down, and it came down to a relatively reasonable support level. And look, you can't trade this. This is from one of our portfolios. It ain't liquid enough, and it's not active enough to be an active trader. Okay, but if you do use it, 162 to 170. Okay, and it certainly is a very high price, but it doesn't matter. Price is price. Coffee, look at that. Now there's no doubts. Okay, which we're long coffee. There is no doubt that this was going to slow down and have a sell-off. Okay, now the question is does it come all the way back down and create what they call a V shape, or Okay. Or does it go in consolidation? My guess is it goes to consolidation because I still think it's going to $3. Okay. So my guess is we go into consolidation here before breaking out again. Okay. And this is when you're watching these markets again, understand that commodities, if the equities indeed are going to break, which I believe they are, okay, that is more bullish for commodities as well, because money is always looking for a place to go. Okay, so it is those are alternative areas where money flows to. Okay, so think about it. I think it looks pretty good. And I mean, coffee, look, if I were looking to add, I'd buy it 232. I'm not a seller at any price, but I can see pretty clear resistance at 240. And lumber, well, look at lumber. Down, hovering once again along the bottom. Now, lumber is going to make a move, okay, one way or the other. Now, we can't trade lumber. Lumber is the most liquid of all, okay, but it is a benchmark of the economy. And certainly, obviously, lumber has went from 1,800 back to 490 or whatever it is, then back up to 1,100. Now it's back at 480, and I think it's probably headed back to 300. Okay, I think lumber is going to zippity doo dah for now, because again, who's going to need lumber now? The housing market's going to slow dramatically. Okay? There's a lot of issues out there. Okay, so we'll see. Again, we can't trade it. It's just something we watch, and certainly as you watch that, copper and lumber are components that they used to call it Dr. Copper. Lumber they just call suicide. But at the end of the day, if those start going south or farther south, that does not bode well for your world economy. All right, so look, at the end of the day, we've got a market that is challenging. You've got Labor Day weekend coming up, so it should be very slow. However, you got a Jobs Friday coming up too, right? So you've got a lot of things in a thin market, okay, that could do a lot of crazy stuff. Okay, so just be careful when you're looking at this stuff. I'm going to stop this recording, and we're going to get into part 2 as we always do. Okay, so let me hit the stop record so you don't have to listen to all at once if you decide to re-listen or listen for the first time. Hold on. Okay, darling, and let's go and get it rocking. And what's up, everybody? Welcome. If you're just tuning in, obviously we get going earlier and earlier and longer, and what the hell? It's only talking about markets anyways, and this is the actual Monday night strategy call. And if you weren't here for the pregame, we went over all the commodities and things, and hopefully you'll get a chance to listen to it. But in the meantime, we got a lot going on, and the first thing to think about is there is no call next Monday, Labor Day. Okay, I'm taking a day off. I'm actually, other than Jobs Friday, I'm taking the basically the rest of the week off. Okay, but I will be trading, and we will be trading live Jobs Friday with my members. Okay, that are in futures. But in the meantime, there is no call next week. There will be a hedging webinar though on Saturday. Okay, which will be the last ever. Okay, this isn't going to be my last class. Okay, those of you who are already in, don't panic. I will give you a refresher as I promised you once a quarter. Okay, I always give a refresher because you got lifetime membership. Okay, but this is the last official class. This will be your last chance to learn how to hedge. Okay, and this is going to be a collapsing market. And you know what? I'm getting old. I'm getting tired, and I'm gonna move on from it. And that's it. Okay. So there'll be an invite. There'll be a link in tonight's email as well. But that'll be Saturday at noon Eastern. And just a reminder of Vegas. And that's all gone, by the way, Connie. All disappeared now. Played golf again yesterday. Played good. In the meantime, if you open a new account with Trader, who is sponsoring the live streaming portion of the show this year, Bubba-Palooza, okay, or you want to come, you can. They will honor the discount between what the regular cost is and the early bird. Okay, so that's a good thing, and Circa is going to be awesome. If you've ever been there, it's an unbelievable hotel. I think we should be at Stadium Swim. I'll be in the Speedo, so we'll be ready to rock and roll. Can you imagine that buying a Speedo? Yeah. Anyways, some of you will suffer, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. And this is the problem in today's world. Okay. Is the middle class are the ones that are doing the suffering. Okay. The upper class, the wealthy, are benefiting or will benefit. Okay. And government workers have no effect. Okay. What effect does it have on them unless they lose their position in government? Okay. So again, are you willing to suffer? Because this is going to be a long road. We have not hit peak yet of this ridiculous stuff that's going on. Okay. And of course, to all of you public servants, my military, police, fire, all you guys, thank you as always. Again, it's been a rough period, and I think it's going to get a little bit rougher here. But if it wasn't for you guys, we couldn't have this freedom that we have. Okay, so as always, I do thank you. Biden's $705 billion student loan forgiveness is unconstitutional, which it is. The president cannot do this. Okay. Congress has to do this. Now, I don't know if they're going to do it, but I would suspect that the Supreme Court would kick it anyways. But it certainly is a good talking point 2 months before the election. Okay. But it is unconstitutional. And under the current environment, the president cannot just sign a bill waiving the student debt. Okay. However, Congress could vote through it, but I think there's too many races that are too close to call that, not many people would want to see this, unless certainly not out of the voters and the contributors. So we'll see. Okay. Serious delinquency rate decreased in July. Okay. Well, again, we'll see where we go from here, but you're seeing obviously rates that are skyrocketing. What was the 10-year today? About 3.2. Oh, I gotta look. Let me just take a peek. 3.1. Okay. 10-year looks like it's going. I'm gonna predict that the 10-year is going to be over 4% before years out. Okay. And again, what does that mean? Not doesn't mean anything right now. Okay, but it will mean that a lot of the money that you see that goes into equities will go into the 10 years, because a lot of the elderly, okay, who would prefer to just get that 4% coupon would rather be there. Okay. Central bankers plan to push the world into a coordinated recession. Now, you may say he's full of crap, he's full of shit. Well, that's probably both true in both cases. Okay. However, this is what I've said all along. This ties into the fraudulent fiat currency system. This ties into exactly what's going on, and this does tie into the Great Reset. Okay, so again, are they? I don't know, but I know that the central banking system itself is garbage. I know that it's been garbage since 1600s in England. Dirty old coal is making a comeback, and consumption is expected to return to 2013 record levels. So again, we talk climate change, we talk all this stuff all the time. We have all this rhetoric that they spew to us, but yet nobody's talking about the things that really have an effect on the environment. Okay. Think about it. Okay. I mean, that is what's happened. These are not my lines, these are facts. Okay. And it's only gonna get worse. Because why? Because as we continue to destroy wealth, okay, and especially in outer countries, do you think they care about climate change? If there is such a thing, do you think they care? They need the cheapest energy source for their people. Okay, that's what they need. That's what it comes down to. It comes down to money, like everything else. Okay. In the meantime, our words of wisdom from our friend Connie, who's always spot on. It's smart to be patient. Move slowly when you don't have all the facts. Okay. And ain't that the truth? And wouldn't that have been nice of the current group that's running this country right now if they had to move a little slower at the destruction of oil while they were figuring out how to get all this green energy out at one time? Okay, we still haven't fixed the infrastructure. I mean, I've been around I've been born, I'm 65. So, but voting wise, I voted since, who did I vote for? What was my first election? Whatever, it was in the 70s, right? Okay. So every president has promised to fix the infrastructure. None have done so. Everyone, not Republican, they've all promised, none have fulfilled. Okay. So don't you think maybe we should fix the infrastructure? Don't you think that'd be a good idea? Not only that, but it might even employ a few people while they're doing it. Okay. But let's not be patient. Let's jump right in and destroy everything. Thanks, Connie. And of course, her hottest State of the Union. Okay. 1 year ago yesterday, 13 American soldiers, average age 22, dead after outrageously botched event referred to as leaving Afghanistan. Every U.S. citizen should be outraged. Look through the recent smoke screens, people. Wake up. Okay. And then this, which is, I think, is really spot on. Okay. That's spot on too, but this is China is teaching our kids quantum physics and calculus, while America is teaching our kids gender pronouns and how to twerk from a drag queen. This isn't going to end well. Now, if you think this is not true, okay, I know people, I can't mention names, but they're corporations. You have to introduce yourself as I am Todd. I prefer he or whatever. I don't know what pronouns are. Okay. So we have to now, if companies have to introduce them, now we know the companies are just defending against lawsuits. Okay. But think about that. Do you want your second grader being taught about gender changing? Okay. I mean, again, I don't know about you, but it ain't for me. Whatever you want to do in your own is okay by me. But I want my kids learning about cooking, cleaning, auto mechanics, electric, plumbing, how to save money, how to invest money. That's what I want them to learn. Okay. So I don't know about you guys, but great one, Connie. Thanks for the late edition. The little late edition paper was right on time. And of course, I am proud to be an American. I love this country. Okay. I want to be clear that as much as I bitch and moan about what's going on, because I'm doing it for good reason. And for me, look, I'm old. Okay. I'll never make it through half the stuff I'm telling you is going to happen. Okay. But I have to ask this question. I keep getting the rebuttal. It's the greatest country in the world. And I agree. It is the greatest country in the world. However, that being said, the greatest country in the world, why should we settle for deterioration? And why should we settle not to be even better? Why should we settle for the same goddamn thing that it's the best country in the world? Why are we settling? Somebody please answer me that question. Okay. I want to know why we settle. I'm not happy with what's going on here. Are you? Is this the way you want the rest of your grandchildren, your children to live into? What's going on in this country today? Yes, it's still the greatest country in the world, and I am so proud to be an American. But I certainly can be unhappy and want to see more progress and continue to grow and be the greater America that we could be, instead of just saying, well, it's the greatest country in the world. You tell me. The physics and math is true. They teach 2 classes a day, 5 days a week of English, and 1 each class of math 3 days a week. Okay. We lost our balls. That's true. Okay. 30. We should be feeling proud, but many students are taught to feel guilty. Right. Listen, again, we should be the leaders, not the followers. We should be in production. We should be creating. Okay. And yet our schools are the worst. For as good as we are, our school system sucks. Okay. We don't teach anything anymore, but it's stuff that you don't want to teach. Anyways, the bottom line is, yes, I'm proud to be American. Yes, this is the greatest place, but I don't like the deterioration, and I don't like where we're headed right now. So you can take that for what it's worth, but certainly I think we're better than what we're showing on the national stage right now. And I don't know why we refuse to show it and why we're embarrassed from it. Okay. Anyways, excuse me. Sorry about that. Get a little worked up about certain things, as you quite know. First man on the moon in 1969. Now we're trying to do it again. Amazing. Okay. Yes, I know. Communism wants nobody to do it, so I understand. Okay. Anyways, so The indexes, we always use the Dow is the YM for the Dow Jones, Yankee Michael. And of course, it has broken down. Okay, it was kind of the strongest. It has broken down a little bit. Okay, and look, we're probably going to be short this tomorrow. Okay, but I don't like the way I told you last week. I didn't like the way it looked. I think you're looking at 31.5 as the next level. I think you're 31.5 to 34, 32.4. Now again, we still have a long position. Okay, so I can't say anything, but I would suspect that it's going to be short. Okay, coming up. Okay, so again, I'm gonna stand mute. Okay, and tell you also that I do believe that right now we want to be kind of conservative and quiet to markets in general right now, because it's going to be a very challenging week anyways. I mean, if it was my preference, I tell you, I'll take the week off. Okay, but it's not mine, and I'm just saying, just be careful. I mean, we're not stopping trading, but we're not aggressively going after anything, nor would I want you to be aggressive in anything, because I think in this particular period, if you get too aggressive, you're going to get trapped and you're going to get hurt. Okay. Anyways, 31.5 to 32.4. And my guess is it's going to change tonight. I don't know that for a fact, but that's my guess. Okay. The S&P Echo Sierra, same thing. And I obviously same answer, because we're only short the NASDAQ right now. Okay. I would think that it looks like 4,100. Okay. And I think you're looking at support at around 3,900 or so, a little bit lower, a little bit higher than that, but 39 to 41. But certainly I'm going to bet that it's going to most likely change. Okay. I'm mostly flat money. Yeah, there's money to make. Okay. And the NASDAQ, which we are now short and has all, listen, they're all, if you start to notice, right, we've been really working on these chart patterns. We've noticed the consistency of how they all have to look alike. Now they have changes, some act a little bit stronger, and there's different levels, but we've broken down. Okay, well, the NASDAQ broke down the hardest from the top. And so now we're violating, I think your next support level is probably going to be like 12.1. Okay, your resistance right now is about 12.6. Now, remember, there's going to be, I'll say maybe this week at some point, a rip your face off rally. Okay, that's going to be a selling opportunity. Okay, again, remember, don't get yourself in a tizzy. Understand that the vicious rallies that come from bear markets, I still say we're in a bear market, the vicious rallies that come are really selling opportunities. They're harder because you get nervous. Okay, and the Russell, okay, which I think will change tomorrow as well. But again, the Russell's managed to maintain a little bit more strength than all of them. Of course, it was the weakest, then it was in consolidation, then it was the strongest, and we'll see. In the meantime, I think 1840, okay, is some support, and I think 1840 to 1970. Okay, now the ranges are getting wider because volatility is getting wider. The price movement is getting wider, so we have to account for the movement, right? Okay, and again, I assure you, if you go look at an option chain, you'll see that the numbers I'm giving you, even though I don't know what they are probably right in line with exactly what I'm telling you. Okay, so in the meantime, again, right now, as of this minute, we're only short the NASDAQ. It is my guess that at least 2 of the remaining 3 will change tomorrow. Okay, I don't know that for a fact. I'm just sharing with you what I think. Okay, so I don't want to make a direct call as I'm waiting to see for sure. Interesting enough, the VIX, which spiked a little bit on Friday and broke out and tried to go higher today, came right back down to support. Okay, now notice, and this chart applies to all stocks, all index, anything. Flat leads to either a breakout to the upside or then a continuation in the direction it was going. And this is what we got. And certainly the bounce was no surprise. The real question is what's going to happen up here around 29. Okay. Now this is where this week makes it even more of a challenge, because there's some premium being taken in a futures option, not futures, but future options because we're closed on Monday. Okay. So there's a whole bunch of things in slow markets. So it's really hard to get a grasp here. Okay. But it does look like volatility did find a bottom. It looks like we're probably 20 to 30 for now. Okay. And then as we start to look at the equities, Alpha Papalima, okay, which we are now short. Okay, we got short today, so full disclosure, but basically at a wash right now in the current position. Okay, but as I told you, I felt that this area was about to peak. Okay, we were so long and we came down and we violated and broke down. We got 165 support, and here we are headed down. I think your next view here is probably, about 158. Okay, I think you're 158 to 165, but I firmly expect to see 150 before this is all done, if not lower. Okay. Summertime blues. There ain't no cure for the summertime blues. Anyways, right now for today, okay, 158 to 165, but I do expect to see 150. Okay, and you saw how fast it can happen too. Okay, Alpha Golf. Okay, which we are short. Now, interesting enough, it was funny that this was up most of the day, even with silver getting hammered. Okay, and we're short. And again, I don't have this in the portfolio because I want to be shorted. It's in the portfolio for when we're going to be long. Okay, it's just a big nothing when we're shorted at these levels. But the stock, when it does decide to go up, and silver does decide to move, it's going to fly. Okay, it's one I would not trade actively. It's in the portfolios for, as I said, a specific reason. And I will say this to you: I own some of this because I'm just taking a shot. Okay, I'm gambling that it's not going to zero. Okay, which I don't think it is. So I'm willing to hold it. Okay, I'm holding it unhedged. It's a straight out, purely a gamble trade. Okay, I bought a few thousand shares just to be there in case. Okay, because again, I'm short silver. I'm short a lot of things in silver, but this can do anything, and I'm not worried about it. I've traded for years. In the meantime, I would look at this now at probably 725 to 850. Okay, but we are short. I wouldn't add to that. Again, I wouldn't. The only thing I'd ever do big in AG is to get to the long side, never to the short side. I would trade the short side, but I would never get big to the short side. AMD, Alpha Michael Delta, okay, which I thought we reversed it. Hold on a second. I had to check something. Did I make a mistake? Hold on 1 second, kids. Give me. Oh no, I'm not the por favor. We should be short that. I don't know why I'm showing it long, but we should be short that. Okay. We are shorted, and if you're not, it could have been my mistake. It was automatic, but it was on the update, and I didn't get any emails about it, so I assumed it was right. But now that I'm looking at it, in the meantime, we should be shorted, and if we're not, we should be. Okay. And in the meantime, it looks like it's headed down to 85. It looks like 85 to 93. Okay, 85 to 93. Okay, and again, this could get ugly. This is a perfect setup for ugly. Now, again, a rally wouldn't be any surprise, but this is now, again, the markets themselves are setting up for a perfect view of ugly. Okay, so be prepared. Okay, and again, it doesn't mean you ever chase anything. Remember, wait long enough, it'll come back to you if you're looking to get in a position. Okay. If you're not in, don't chase either side. If you are in, use it to your advantage. Okay. So true. Yes, sir. You think I just you just think I pull a hot air all the time. No, I'm just kidding. You've become a very good student, young man. Okay. Anyways, never chase. It doesn't do any good, I promise. Amazon, Alpha Michael Zulu November. Now we would be, I'm sure, short this. We have no position. We don't carry it yet. It will be in after Labor Day. Okay, it'll be in the portfolios. So the next time we're together, it will be a part of everything. But in the meantime, here you are. You're at a pretty key level. Now I do own this, full disclosure, in my hedging account. Okay, I think you're probably, watching 129 is pretty key. It certainly wouldn't surprise me to see it come down and as long as it's here, fill this gap down to 125. Okay. But right now, based on the chart I'm looking at, it's like 128 to 144 or so. But I can make a case now that there's resistance about 130. I'd say it's 128 to 138, but don't be surprised if it does fill the gap to 125. Bravo Alpha, which we're short. And it had a little bit of a spike up, and here it comes right back. And it's funny, it was higher this morning, and suddenly it came down. I see this blow off here. This was a great spot to sell it if you were trading it. Okay. But again, it did just show you that the resistance level was exactly where we thought it was, about 100, 105. And I think you're going back down to 88. Okay, and probably lower. Okay. There's as much trouble in China as they say there is, it's going a lot lower. Okay. And Bido, again, I'll just give you a quick brief. It is strictly, we don't carry it anymore, and it didn't do what I want to do. I said I'd take it off, and it is, but some of you do watch it. It's just a play on Bitcoin. If you want to own Bitcoin without being in a wallet, okay, this is a way to own it. This tracks it as an ETF. Okay, but we haven't got the backwardation contango yet because it only trades 1 month at a time, basically. BitQ, however, which we do watch on a regular basis. Look, if you like Bitcoin, you're probably in a good spot to gamble here. We don't carry this in any of our portfolios. There are certain things we just give you some plays that, because some of you feel compelled that you got to gamble. Okay, so if you're going to gamble, I want to give you the highest probability, okay, of gambling. He's around Jack Ma. He's just reprogrammed. Okay, I just like to give you, if you're going to gamble, I want to give you the highest probability of success on your gambling. Okay, that's all. So this would be a potential buy here if you believe that Bitcoin has found a bottom. If not, wait. Again, you should never be in a hurry to chase this. Okay, these are just ways to play that space if you choose to. In the meantime, I would say that you're looking at probably $7 to the downside and 8 is the resistance. But you can see we were just over 10 again and back down to 7.5. Yeah. Chewy. Charlie Hotel Whiskey Yankee, which we are short now. And again, it's got earnings tomorrow. All right. Oh, yeah. How about that? So we're short going to earnings. They had the big spike up. We were long for most of it. The pop down, and now we're short. Look, you're on support. You got earnings coming out tomorrow. You're in a slow, thin market. But I would say be neutral for now, unless you're in the portfolios, obviously. Number one. Number two, if it moves outside of the expectation of movement, which is, I'm going to tell you right now, I will be, if this stock moves $6 one way or the other, if it goes up $6, I will be a seller. If it goes down $6, I will look to be a buyer. Okay, that'll be purely as a trade of a stock that is traded outside of the expected range. Okay, that's the only reason that I have any interest in that whatsoever, other than I own it and I'm trading. But I mean, from a trading standpoint, that's what I'd be looking for. I don't think I gave you levels. Neutral. That's why I didn't give you levels. I knew I didn't want to give you levels. Coin, Charlie Oscar, India, November, which were short. We're hovering, and again, it had a nice little move up. And notice this pattern came at higher levels into an uptrend and then suddenly failed. Okay, we saw that in the VIX. I showed you all the time. It should have held, it didn't. So now it's telling us there's still some weakness here. We're short, and I would suspect that you're looking at probably $60 as the next support. I think you're probably looking 60 to 80 right now. 60 to 80. And if you say that guy is nuts, which way I am, we all know that. Okay. Let's just see what expectations are. Okay. So then we can see if I'm really nuts. And the expectations, for this Friday are $7, and for the following Friday is 10. So I think I'm pretty much in line. I think I got a pretty good handle on it. Pretty good read. Okay. Anyway, 60 to 80, we are short. DraftKings, which I guess the takeover is not going to happen, right? Which we are short now as well. Look, this has got to come off this. We have it in the portfolios, which is it'll eventually come out of those as well. I just got to figure out what to put in its place. But DraftKings, again, to me, the only salvation is going to be a takeover at some point, or it's just going to wallow around. I would, other than the portfolios, I would recommend, staying away from it. Okay, I don't know where, unless you sniff a takeover. In the meantime, for today, I would look at it from 15.50 support, $18 resistance, and we are short. Meta, Michael Echo Tango Alpha, okay, which, we are short, okay, and we're down at the bottom end. Look, this is really just stuck in consolidation. This is when you're trend trading. This is always a problem. What do you say, Lord Luigi? This is always a problem when you're looking at this pattern. Okay? Consolidation is miserable for trend trading. Okay? Basically, since June, all that Meta or Facebook has done is to go sideways. Okay? Meantime, we're short. From the short side of you, you'd like to see it pop to 170 and have it fail there, and you needed to fail through 155, which I think both are possible. Okay, 155 to 170. Okay. First Solar, Foxtrot, Sierra, excuse me, Lima, Romeo, excuse me, which we're still long. Okay, and it's breaking out. Why? I don't know. Okay, and again, I told you, and I did take a short business, it didn't work. Okay, off of this, it did not work. It might continue to go higher. Okay, well, we'll see. I'll watch it and find if I can find another opportunity at some point. But right now, it looks like it's breaking out of another level and looks like it wants to make a run. I'd have to say that in today's world, it's got support probably about 115. And really, in the near term, there really is no resistance. I think you look at 125, 115 to 125 for now. Okay, we are long. And why it's going up like this is, first of all, it's very thin. Number one. Number two, who knows? Only the shadow knows. GDX, Golf Delta X-Ray, which we're short. We're still short. I don't trade this personally, except in the portfolio. I wouldn't even buy it for long term. Again, I don't buy paper, gold, or representation of gold for holding. I only trade paper, but just is still paper. I don't care what you call it. In the meantime, again, it's so thin right now. I think 26 is resistance, 26.50, and I think 24 is support, which is a new low, new recent low. Again, I'm going to put it this way. If I'm trading without the portfolios and I'm just looking at stuff, I ain't looking at GDX as something I'm going to trade. How's that? Okay. It doesn't move them enough. It's not enough. There's not enough activity for it. Okay. I think you get better places to go with your money. Okay. If you were trading, not investing or doing it. Google, Golf, Oscar, Golf, Lima. Golf, Oscar, Golf, Lima. Sorry. In the meantime, this will be in after Labor Day as well. But right now, we don't have a position. I would suspect it would be short. I am long it. I do own it in my hedging portfolio. Bought some more shares today, as a matter of fact. In the meantime, it looks to me like it's still really stuck in a range. It looks like 115 to 105. Okay. And, it's really, though, if you look at this and Meta, okay, and even Amazon, where are they really gone in the last 3 or 4 months? Nowhere. Okay. Again, they're really just stuck in consolidation, which is telling you that they're going to get ready to make the next big move. Which way is the next big move? My guess is it's going to be down, but I don't have to be right. Okay. GLD, Golf Lima Delta. Okay. Which we are short. It is holding pretty nicely around the 161, 162 level. Again, gold, if you think gold's going down, this has got to go down. Okay. And I think you get resistance at about 164. Yeah, support is really on support right now. Okay, at 161, but it probably, if the trend is going to hold, it's going to go to one. It's going to come down at least 160. I'd make it 160 to 164. So right now, what does that tell you as a trader? You really want to get involved in a 160 to 164 asset class. Okay. That you could find so many better others to play with your money. Okay. Again, for holding for a couple of weeks, a month, whatever, no problem. But for day trading or active trading, I don't think GLD is the place to be at this moment. Okay. Goldman Sachs, Gulf Sierra, which we're short. You know, look, it's really just kind of in a big churn as well, right? I mean, really, when you think about it, this is going to be the key spot right here. Okay, like 330. If it breaks down from 330, it's probably going dramatically lower. Okay, but it should just as easily hold and pop back up again. That's kind of been the pattern. Okay, and this is why these levels that you're watching are so important. Getting ready to buy some coins? Yeah, I buy them all the time. I buy coins, I buy bars. I would just say this to you. My only recommendation to this, in gold, make sure you buy coins. Don't buy big bars. Because, and I'm very serious about this. If it's ever needed as a currency, which it may at some point be, okay. You know, if you have a 100-ounce bar of gold, who's going to make change for you? I know it's funny, but I'm being serious. Yeah. No, I'm telling you what I just told you what I did. I buy all coins in platinum and gold. Okay, I'll buy some bigger blocks in silver, but I like junk silver too. Hell, I've been saving junk silver since 1965. Anyways, Goldman Sachs for short, I would think that you're looking at 330 as a real crucial area, and then 350, 330 to 350. IWM, India Whiskey Michael, which we reversed today, okay, which makes me think the Russell's going to change as well. I would say that this looks like, you know, 188, 190, 190 resistance, 184 support, pretty tight range, okay. And I don't like when these ranges get tighter, okay. But the good news about a tighter range is what? That is probably going to break out, okay, to a better direction, which is a good thing, okay. AU bars are a pain, and yes, I buy. Yeah, you buy it, and you're right. You're smart. Okay. Well, I mean, I started saving with my dad. You know, when they stopped making silver quarters, half dollars, right, and dimes. Okay, my dad said, hey, let's just throw them in a coffee can. So I got coffee cans full of quarters, dimes, half dollars. Okay. You know, buried in the backyard. Anyways. So the good thing about a tighter range is that it means it's going to be a bigger move coming. Yes, sir. You got it. So hopefully it'll be with the trend. Okay. And that'll be a big benefit. I think I do believe that's what it's going to be. Okay. LBS, Las Vegas Sands, Lima Victor Sierra. It's really just stuck. We don't carry a position. I just added it. It's really just 36 to 40. Not much to talk about. Okay. Mara, Michael Alpha, Romeo Alpha, which we do carry in our portfolio. We're now short, okay, and I've been short for a couple of days. Look, it made a nice move for us to the upside. It's coming down, very much correlated to Bitcoin, and that's, again, if you like playing the crypto world, these are some of the places to play for a lesser cost, a little less expensive. Okay, you may not get the same benefit, but you don't have the same your parent. You don't get the same big, you know, the same big movement either. So, but again, it's a way to play if you want to play them. But we do carry it in the portfolio. We're short, and for today, 14 resistance. I think you're looking at 10 support. Okay. Neo has earnings in the next couple of weeks. Look at it, just chop, chop, chop. You're going nowhere. Okay, we're shorted now. It's just a big consolidation fest. I would be at neutral, Connie. I wouldn't even trade it. I mean, we put an earnings trade on it, but I wouldn't even trade it right now until after earnings. Okay. And I don't even think I'm going to make a play on this even after earnings. I have a position in. Okay. But after earnings, I don't, again, this is not when that moves very much. So we'll see. You know, I could always change my mind, and we may get together before the next earnings comes out. It's coming soon. I just don't remember when. Nugget, November Uniform Golf Tango. Now this continues to compress. Now, part of the problem with Nugget is it's a leverage ETF. Okay. So part of the compression that you're seeing, like normally, I would be saying to you, there's a gigantic move coming here out of this move. Okay. Normally, if it was a normal equity or a normal future, I'd be saying there's going to be a giant move. However, when you're dealing with these leverage ETF, this is where they become a criminal element. Okay. Because they're leveraged, because they have a multiplier, because they're going to reverse split at some point. Okay, because they're not moving enough, because the multiplying factor isn't big enough now, because the stock is too cheap. So really what happens is this goes sideways, or it has the appearance of sideways, but it's not the same as a normal chart, because this works off of a multiplier number, not just the chart itself. Okay, we are still short. I don't know that I'd be aggressively shorting more because of where it's at, but certainly I would say that 31 is resistance and 27 is support. And we are still short. NVIDIA breaking down the highway. Okay. And again, they had earnings, it didn't do much. We're breaking down, we're short. I think you're looking at 180 as resistance, and I think you're going to look for, probably 150. I'm going to call for 140 as the real support. 180 to 140. Okay. Penn, which we don't carry anymore, but Penn is really in consolidation, but Penn is in the same camp as DraftKings. Okay. I made the mistake. I've fessed up to it before. I'm going to fess up one more time. Okay. I don't think they can ever make enough money. They're going to have to be bought out. Okay. Because again, in the industry that they're in, they're not making a product, they're facilitating a market. And they can only make an X amount of percentage per a dollar's help. Okay. And the more competition, okay, that comes in, the tighter the ranges they have to be, and their acquisition costs are out of line. Okay. In the meantime, if you want to look at it, I would think 30 to 36. The Qs, Quebec, we're short. Okay, as of today, I would think that the 320 is the resistance. 295 or so is the support. Again, we need this trend to continue. Sideways action is not good, or is not necessarily our friend. Okay. So we'd like to see the trend continue. Obviously, I know many are long and would prefer it long. I don't really care. I just want a trend to go. Okay. And I prefer the short side because obviously I like the benefit from adding and buying a lot more stuff. Okay. Before. Okay. Anyways, 295 to 320. Roku. Is that like haiku? And we're still short. And I told you, this is going to the toilet, and it's going to the toilet. Okay. The new resistance level is about 75. And this is like, if it doesn't hold around here somewhere, okay, I would say probably 60. If it doesn't hold 60 on the way down, 40 is next. Okay. Again, another industry that is over flooded. Okay. That it's hard for everybody to, I mean, how many subscriptions can you buy for a different TV shit? Okay. So anyways, for today, 60 to 75, and we are short. Square Dance, Sierra, Quebec. Okay. Which we are also short. This has some tie. I love the company. I own it. Okay. In my hedging portfolio, I'm short it in my trading portfolio. Okay. I think you're looking at probably, 65 to 75, 80, somewhere in that area. Listen, they're tied to Bitcoin. They got a great payment plan. I think they're set up for some other stuff in the crypto worlds as well. So, but they're not 100% dependent on crypto, but they do have a lot of money invested in it. So we'll see what happens. We are short right now. I would think it's, like I said, 65 to 75 or 60 to 75. The SPY, Sierra Papa Yankee, which we're short. And, again, from today, we're not a great, we weren't short on Friday, unfortunately. I think you're looking at 410, and I think you're looking at 390. 390 to 410. Again, we need the trend to work. Again, whichever way, let it trend for a couple of months, maybe a year. That'd be the best. Nice, long, extended trend. Okay. Tango, Quebec, which we hold nowhere. Again, this is just another levered ETF. The reason I show some of these, this is still okay and will perform, but it's going to get to a point where it's going to get too cheap and they're going to have to reverse split it again. But it's probably a good play if you start to see a short squeeze coming. Okay, because you're going to get one. You're going to get a bear market rally. Probably a good play then. Okay. Other than that, I would say 28 to 32. Okay. Tesla, which I don't own yet, but I'm going to buy it. Okay, I'm going to hedge it, buy it and hedge it. I'm still trying to figure out the details of how I want to do it. In the meantime, the range right now is 280 to 320. Okay. So I will start trading again, but really I'm not going to be trading it. I'm going to be buying it, accumulating it, and hedging it. Okay. Edward bought my first share. Oh, cool. Good for you. I didn't put it on yet. What are you using for settings? Just out of curiosity. I haven't figured out what I want to do yet. That's why I'm waiting. Okay. And I don't really care. You know, I get it when I get it. It's not the end of the world. But in the meantime, you know, I think we would consider this probably still in an uptrend. Okay. Actually, potentially making a nice little cup and handle pattern. Okay. So I think it looks pretty good. In the meantime, you know, 280, 320 or so. When Whiskey Yankee, November. Okay, which we're short. Consolidation. I hate it. Okay, it's just brutal. Okay, I love the company. I own it in my hedging, but I'm shorted in the trading. I think you're looking at 60 to 67. XBI, X-ray Bravo India. It finally broke a little bit, but it's still within reach of the bottom end of this consolidation. It still looks pretty good as well. I would say probably 80 would be where I'd start to get some concern. I think you're probably 80 to 92 right now. Okay, but it still looks like it's pretty solid. Zoom, again, boom, hated earnings, bang, down it goes. And again, Zoom's, I think, is going to be just like Roku. And if it doesn't hold here pretty soon, I think it's going down to 60 and then probably 40. Okay. So that's how I see it, kids. You know, again, look, it's a quiet market. If you've got anything you want me to look at for you real quick, I'd be happy to do so. I get a lot of good ideas from you guys. In fact, I bought this last week. The CTRA, which you asked me about, I know who did. In the meantime, you got me look at anything, I'll be happy to do so. Otherwise, have a great Labor Day weekend. Remember, no call HRB. Yeah, I want to get short. Okay, well, I'll look. You know, I'll give you my honest assessment. You don't have to tell me. I'll tell you what I think. Listen, I don't sugarcoat now. Why would you want to get short this? What is your, do I have to take you out and beat the crap out of you? Okay, what are you trying to short? There's no, the stock is going straight up. It's going, you know, maybe it's going to go down. Okay, but right here, what am I shorting? Okay, what do I want to gamble? This is actually, if I wrote my book with these patterns, this is a classic pattern. It held the blow off. That's come here and crack you a little bit. INDU, DO, sorry. India, November, Delta, Oscar. Wait, oh, that's a penny stock. I don't know what did they do? Anything? Indonesia Energy. I don't know. They probably use a lot of coal. It's very illiquid, first of all. How can you trade it? There's no liquidity here. Do you own some of this? Are you gambling? Okay. And then tell me the truth. I don't care. Okay. The VXX does not trade anymore. This is my problem. Okay. I get the rest of them. First, let me figure out this. Look, this is a penny stock. Unless you know something or you think you know something, I don't know what you're doing in it. There's no liquidity. Look at it trades, nothing. Here, look, some days it trades what? 6,000 contracts? I don't know. 60 million here, though. I don't know. It's up to you. I don't see much here. Okay. I'm long it. I bought it. I bought it in my retirement account. Okay. Good trade, good gamble. Hey, nothing wrong with gambling on energy. I'm with you. Okay. The VXX, you know, since they had that problem when I took it out, okay, look at what it's done. It really doesn't trade anymore. Okay. It's not accurate. And anytime, you know, I start to see some of this news that comes out, okay, I get nervous because I've seen the bad side of it. Okay. And VIX was going parabolic higher, okay, when the volatility index itself was going down. Okay, and there was a problem, and I'm worried it's going to go bankrupt, which is what happens in the past. So to me, I don't even look at this anymore, except that you just asked me to. You know, the VIX is only tradable with options or futures. Okay, and to me, it's an untradeable thing. It's a professional's product. I don't think that an amateur or me, like I don't trade it. I never trade the VIX. Okay? I think it's for professionals. Okay, I think it's just a guy. I think you use it just as a guide. Okay. Walmart, Whiskey Michael Tango, Whiskey Michael Tango. I mean, that's okay. It came back from its disaster, kind of holding right in here at some support. I mean, look, Walmart is not what I would call the greatest trading stock in the world. Certainly, if I were looking to buy some and own it, I could buy some and hedge it here. Okay. I have no problem with that. X, U.S. Steel. What the hell is it these days? Wow, it looks pretty good. I mean, again, if you look at this from, you might have a cup and handle type pattern come here. Usually don't come from a downtrend, but you do see some pretty solid support trying to break the upside a little bit. Okay. I think it's pretty key right here at about 27 bucks that I got to get through, but certainly if you bought it at 25 or 24, I couldn't find fault in that. Okay. Would you hedge Walmart for the dividend? I mean, I like Walmart. I don't have a problem with it. Okay. It's not one of my holdings, but I don't mind it. Okay. And you remember, the dividend is coming out of the stock. So if you wanted to get the dividend and do some growth through either drip or you needed to want to take some money out, either way is okay. But I wouldn't buy it and hedge it just for the dividend. Okay. Because again, the growth is kind of stunted by the dividend as well. Right? You get the shares, you get the money, you get the tax benefit. Okay. So, it's 6 of one, half and the other and the other. Does that make sense, man? Let me know what you think. FCX, copper mining. Look, this stock was on at $5, I think, and it was up as high as 60. It's right at $31, going sideways. I would say this to you: if you like copper, it's probably a pretty good buy. If you don't like copper, it's probably not. I mean, they're a good company. They've been around for a while. I traded this thing when I first started trading. It was one in the group of what I traded. I have no problem buying it here if you wanted to buy some. 30 bucks, 31. I mean, I think it's a good play. So the pattern looks fine. And I mean, AAL, that's got to be, is that the captain talking? No, it's not. Oh, Alcoa, sorry. Not AAL. I was going to say, who wants to look at AAL? They're going out of business. Alcoa looks pretty good. Now, if you believe in my theory of the commodities, which aluminum is a commodity, okay, then I think this is probably a pretty good buy somewhere around here. Okay. Because I think commodities are going to explode to the upside. Okay. If I'm looking at this chart, I think 53 or so is pretty good. 55, 50 is pretty good. Like if you're going to hedge it, then it doesn't really matter. Okay. LTHM, Lima, Tango, Hotel, Michael. I mean, lithium stocks, right? Oh, LiveNet. Is this lithium related or no? I have no idea. Okay. The pattern looks pretty good. Regardless of what it is, $31 looks like a pretty good spot. If I were going to buy it, it's a little thin, but again, I don't know what you're looking at and what it is through your portfolio. Yeah, I mean, it looks okay. I mean, I think lithium's big, right? Everybody's trying to play it. Certainly, it's had a nice move from 20, and it's holding very well. You can look at 31. You can look at 30, or you can try to be a little piggish and wait for 26 or 27 if it comes back. Any of those are fine. Okay. GTBIF, Bitcoin. Is that what that one is? GTBIF, well, Tango, Bravo, India, Foxtrot. That's okay. I mean, again, this is pot. I don't know. I can't get behind pot stocks right now. Look, I don't know why they're not legal. I can't get my grasp of that. Okay. I think it looks pretty good. Okay. But I'm afraid of what's happened to a lot of other crap. So, anyways, everybody have a great Labor Day weekend. Remember, there'll be a hedging webinar on Saturday, and it's be the last one. And for those of you who day trade me, remember, no trading tomorrow. We'll be back on Wednesday, probably Wednesday and Friday this week because it's pretty slow. So, and we'll continue our winning ways. Have a great week, everybody. Just be careful. That's the bottom line. Please just be careful. There will be plenty of time to be aggressive, and I will let you know. and I will be aggressive, and I'll spell it. I don't hide. I'll spell it out when it's time. Right now, be passive, be conservative, and play defense. Football's coming anyways. Defense wins champions. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see, or a great week, and we'll see you later.